Life can feel like it's just constantly throwing things at you, right? And it feels like we're just reacting, jumping from one fire to the next. But what if you could actually build a personal toolkit? A set of go-to mental strategies, not just to survive, but to actually get stronger from all these challenges. Okay, let's do it. Let's build that toolkit, piece by piece.
So I want to kick things off with a question that, honestly, it completely changed how I think about my own feelings. Get this. Did you know that the actual physical, chemical reaction of any emotion, anger, joy, frustration, it's all gone in just 90 seconds?
Yep, just 90 seconds. And look, this isn't some self-help platitude. This is straight-up neuroscience from Dr. Jill Bolt-Taylor, a researcher at Harvard. So when something triggers an emotion, your body gets this flood of chemicals. But those chemicals are completely flushed out of your system in about a minute and a half. So if that's true, why does it feel like anger or anxiety can stick around for hours or even days?
And here's the catch. We're the ones who keep it going. We keep the feeling alive by replaying the story in our heads. Our thoughts literally re-trigger that same chemical response over and over, and that creates an emotional loop. Now, just understanding this gives you so much power. The emotion itself is just a wave. It comes and goes. It's our thinking that turns that little wave into a relentless, overwhelming tide.
So that leads us right to our first tool, and it's all about getting a handle on those thoughts. It's called cognitive reframing, and trust me, it's a total game changer for dealing with disappointment.
See, cognitive reframing is all about adjusting your perspective. The event itself isn't what causes disappointment. It's the gap between what you expected to happen and what actually happened. This tool helps you close that gap, and in doing so, you can turn what feels like a paralyzing setback into a real, actionable challenge.
And what's so powerful about this slide is how it shows two completely different realities springing from the exact same event. That catastrophic frame on the left, it just slams the door shut. It's a dead end, right? But the reframed perspective on the right, well, it opens a brand new door. It asks, okay, so what's next? It's not about pretending you aren't bummed out. It's about finding a way forward despite it.
This just perfectly captures our tendency to catastrophize, doesn't it? Our brain directs this whole dramatic film in our head. But in reality, everyone else in that meeting has already forgotten about it. They're probably just thinking about what's for lunch. Reframing helps you step outside of that internal drama and just see the situation for what it really is.
All right, let's grab our second tool from the kit. This one's all about immediate relief. For those moments when you're right in the middle of an emotional storm and you need help like right now.
Have you ever made some tiny mistake and felt like a giant blinding spotlight just switched on right over your head? Well, that feeling has a name. It's the spotlight effect. Research from Cornell University confirmed it. We massively overestimate how much other people notice our flaws. And why is that? Well, because you are the center of your universe. But guess what? So is everyone else. They're way too busy being the star of their own movie to notice every little thing you do.
I just love this example because it is so incredibly relatable. We're all so busy with our own internal monologues, our own anxieties, that we rarely have the mental energy to judge other people as harshly as we imagine they're judging us. And realizing that, it's so liberating.
Okay, another common trap is rumination. That mental quicksand where you just replay a negative thought or a mistake over and over and over. And here's the crazy part. Studies show that trying to force yourself to stop thinking about something, like don't think of a pink elephant, well, it only makes you think about it more. So instead of fighting the thought, you just redirect your brain's attention. This 5-3-1 technique is a simple but super powerful pattern interrupt. It forces your brain to engage with the present moment and a totally different task, which breaks the cycle without having to fight it head on. You're basically giving the river of your mind a new, more constructive channel to flow into.
Okay, so the first two tools were kind of like defense. This next one, this is about offense. It's about building your core mental strength so that future challenges don't even hit you as hard. We're talking proactive resilience.
This concept, from a writer named Nassim Taleb, is so powerful. I mean, think about it. Your muscles don't get stronger from resting on the couch, right? They get stronger from the stress of exercise. Anti-fragility is that same exact logic, but applied to your mind. It suggests that leaning into calculated challenges is the very thing that stimulates psychological growth.
So how do you actually practice this? Well, you introduce small, controlled stressors into your life. Things like taking a 30-second cold shower, or finally having that difficult conversation you've been putting off. These little actions build up your capacity to handle the real, unexpected challenges when they show up. It's like they say, the obstacle isn't in the way, the obstacle is the way.
Now, for long-term hardship, we need something called the Stockdale paradox. It's named after Admiral Jim Stockdale, who was a prisoner of war for over 7 years. And what he noticed was that the pure optimists, the guys who kept saying, oh, we'll be out by Christmas, they were the first to break. The ones who survived were those who could hold two ideas at once, an unwavering faith that they would get through it, combined with a brutal, honest acceptance of just how grim their current reality was. It stops you from falling into either delusion or despair.
And this brings us to a really crucial idea, preparing your tools before you need them. Think of it like building an emotional first aid kit. Because let's be real, when you're in the middle of a crisis, your rational brain is kind of offline. So by creating a pre-planned menu of actions for specific triggers, you're giving yourself a simple, effective script to follow when you need it most.
Okay, we've covered a bunch of individual tools. So the final step here is to pull them all together into a system that actually works for you.
This is so important to get. We often think of some people as just being born resilient, but that's a total myth. Resilience is a skill, and just like any other skill, it's built through consistent practice. Having a system makes that practice reliable, and a good system will outperform raw willpower every single time, especially when you're stressed.
So a really robust system is going to address these 4 key areas you see here. Think about how the tools we talked about fit in. For your physiological state, you've got the 90-second rule. For the cognitive domain, you've got reframing and the Stockdale paradox. For your behavioral actions, you've got that 5-3-1 technique. And then for the social part, it's about knowing who your support network is and actually calling on them. Integrating all 4 means you're pretty much ready for whatever comes your way.
Ultimately, these tools aren't about trying to create a life that's free of challenges. I mean, that's just impossible. They're about changing your relationship with those challenges. It's about learning the steps so that when the storms of life inevitably arrive, you're actually ready and maybe even able to dance. So what's the one tool you're going to start practicing today?